It's another new season of this incredible digital series, Purgatory. Where do we pick up with the town and Chris?
We actually pick up with a flashback from the event that happened 8 years earlier that sparked all the events that the series is based on. So, the first season, my character, Chris, spends most of his time trying to uh, keep this horrible secret he's been living with from getting out, and it's slowly seeping out and he's losing control of it until finally at the end of the first season he confesses something to his wife Marie, and then the second season picks up with the flashback of what actually happened that night.
What was it about the series itself or about Chris maybe that drew you to be a part of this show?
uh I'm really drawn to characters that have really strong internal conflicts and are battling with themselves. And that's what Chris has a lot of. He's torn between trying to protect his wife and his unborn child and keep them safe and alive, and also trying to escape this imprisonment they find themselves in, while also trying to keep this terrible secret hidden from his wife and everyone else, because if it were to come out, it would completely destroy his life and his wife's and his family's and everything. I've forgotten what the original question was. Sorry, Jamie, what was the first part of that question?
What made you want to be a part of the series?
Oh, yeah. So I was drawn to the character. And the script is, I grew up doing theater, and I only started doing film and television more regularly about 5 years ago. And when I saw this script, it's written almost like a play, in that the scenes are dialogue driven and they're quite long scenes and long takes for television. So I was really drawn to that. It kind of makes me think of, did you ever see The Affair? And The Affair had that element of, it was theatrical in the sense of like how long and in depth these scenes were, and so much dialogue. And I loved that show. And then I saw elements of that in this script as well. So that really excited me.
Were you familiar then at all with your co-stars before starring in
No,
Purgatory?
no, I didn't know any of them before.
So this was quite great chemistry then that you developed with your on-screen wife, Bree.
Yeah, yeah. BB is so lovely, and she's one of these people who is just so easy to talk to. You start a conversation with her. I still remember just being on the plane with her, flying to Armenia, and the time just flew by because she's just so easy to talk to, and she's just such a lovely person. So it was really, really easy to connect with her.
Going into season two here, or the new season, excuse me, going into this new season, have you had much of a say in how Chris has developed, or are you just excited because you get to read this incredible trajectory that the writers have for him already?
Uh, yeah, so Chris's journey in season two, I can't give too much away, but basically his role within this group of people that have been trapped in the cave, and the dynamics between them, because of something major that happens in, I think it's the second episode of season 2, the role takes on a very different trajectory, and his position within this group of people changes quite a bit. So that was very, very exciting. And at the same time, our writer director, Michael Casey, he is such a collaborative director. And whenever, like, I just was always able to talk to him about any ideas I had, or questions, or thoughts about where, if I had a thought that maybe wasn't as in line with the journey that the character was on, we could have a very open and honest conversation about that. And he was very, yeah, I said it already. He was just a very collaborative director to work with, and which is what you want. At least what I want as an actor. I love it when it's a really collaborative process.
Talk about Chris's relationship with his father, and I know he's eager to get out of his father's shadow. Have they given you
So
much of a backstory about that?
no, actually, just a lot of my preparation work was on backstory, because Chris's relationship with his father, for example, is touched on, but not very much and not very in depth. But that relationship has influenced him so much in becoming the person that he is, in this moment. So most of the backstory I created myself based on the information, the little bit of information I had from the script. The relationship is, Chris is a disappointment to his father, and Chris is constantly trying to get his approval and impress him and be the man that he thinks his father wants him to be, but just can never seem to get any of those things, no matter how hard he tries.
What have been, or I should ask actually, coming here into the new season, are there some standout episodes for you that you're really eager for fans to see? I know you touched on episode 2.
Yeah, I hope I'm saying the right episode. I believe it's episode 2, because we filmed at such an incredible pace, especially when we went back, because we shut down for a year because of the pandemic, and then a year later went back and got back to work. But we were like working at such a pace because the risk of someone catching COVID and us having to shut down again. My God, I've never worked at a pace like that before in my life. But I believe it's episode 2 where how can I say it without giving too much away? Some really big changes happen with the people who are still trapped in the cave. So that's all I'll say about episode 2. It's really exciting because suddenly okay. I won't say anymore. I run the risk of giving spoilers. And then there's a scene. Again, I can't say too much without giving it away, but a scene that Mike wrote for my character at the end of season 2, which was just such a really beautiful, heartfelt scene that he wrote. And it was towards the end of my schedule, and I found it was very cathartic getting to do this scene, and it was quite emotional, and just felt really, really good in terms of the connection I had with my scene partner, who I won't say who it is. So you'll have to watch and see for yourself about the scene I'm talking about.
What do you think it is then about Purgatory that's just made it such a fan favorite show right off the bat?
Um, you've got a really diverse group of characters and personalities that it's impossible to not find at least one or two characters that you connect with. And it's just this group of people from all different walks of life that have been put together and trapped together. And it's just looking at the dynamics and the relationships that get formed and get what's the word I'm looking for? Like they get tested, and just seeing how a group of very different individuals have to work together or not to survive against the elements and against the people who are trying to kill them. And it's just so much suspense. It's one of those TV shows that starts off with so many questions, and those questions slowly and gradually get answered. And I think people are hooked by wanting to know the answers to all those questions that do get posed in season 1.
What have been some of the other projects you've been recently working on then?
Well, due to the pandemic,
Much.
there haven't been too many, Jamie. I didn't work for a year because we shut down, which is when we got the green light to go back, because we were filming in Armenia, which was also, I mean, they had a war last year. The Armenian-Azerbaijan war broke out last year, and so that plus a pandemic, God, like the fact that we were able to go even at the beginning of 2021 to finish is amazing. So in answer to your question, it's been quiet, and I'm in Toronto right now, and it's the first time I've been able to visit home in almost 2 years. So I told my reps, I was like, look, October, like I'm not available. I'm going home to see my family and my friends who I haven't seen in 2 years. So I also deliberately have tried to keep things quiet for the past few months, because I didn't want anything to conflict with this trip that I've been aching to have for so long.